I'm Representative Goldstein-Rose. I am representing Amherst, Pelham, and Granby, and I'm here to express my support for H 1726 and S 1821. I have written longer testimony that I will summarize and be respectful of your time. I'm going to submit the full version and hope you'll read it afterwards. By the end of this hearing, you will have listened to many different perspectives as to why Massachusetts should put a price on carbon pollution. The reality is that Massachusetts' own emissions are insignificant in the big picture of global warming, and yet Massachusetts is going to be hit with the full impacts unless we solve the problem globally. Our unique contribution will not simply be reducing our emissions, it will be developing cheap, clean energy technologies that we can patent here and sell to the rest of the world. And this is the greatest economic development potential for our state that will exist in the next few decades. Already there's a growing national demand for energy storage technologies. There's no state that's staked out a role as the center of that new industry. During this current legislative session is when states who wish to be serious competitors for the energy storage industry must start making bold moves. Yes, carbon pricing will keep money in state and create jobs, but the most significant benefit of carbon pricing is that it will create a market environment in Massachusetts that will drive a demand for cheap, clean energy and will attract companies to move here to commercialize their new technologies. Yes, carbon pricing will allow us to meet our Paris and Global Warming Solutions Act commitments, which no other policy will do. But again, the greater benefit is that carbon pricing will signal to the whole world that Massachusetts is the place to come for clean energy innovation. If we want that economic development, we have to put a price on carbon now while the industry is just beginning to exist. Finally, I want to address the political concerns that some legislators have regarding carbon pricing. Some agree it's sound policy, but believe it will not pass this session, or perhaps any given session. And I've talked with colleagues that agree it would be beneficial to the economy, and yet were afraid they wouldn't be able to effectively communicate about it to their constituents or would risk re-election. And others see the benefit of tens of thousands of jobs, but then say we shouldn't claim that benefit for fear of a few companies that might need to change their business model or go out of business. The fact is, legislators almost never lose an election because of one vote, though of course we will face pushback for any forward-thinking step that we take. And also, we know that it will only ever be implemented nationally if Massachusetts leads the way first. So it's our job as legislators to be objective and to explain our decisions effectively to the public. If messaged correctly, carbon pricing can easily be supported by a significant majority of Massachusetts residents, voters, and businesses. We must abandon the notion that carbon pricing cannot pass this session. Indeed, it must happen this session, or the greatest benefits in establishing Massachusetts as a center for this new industry will be lost. Carbon pricing policy has been around for multiple sessions and has been refined again and again. The turnout here demonstrates that there are thousands of advocates all around the Commonwealth who are ready to have our backs if we take our bold step. I suggest this should be referred favorably and passed this summer. This will leave half a year for relevant agencies to prepare for implementation, and the price can go into effect January 1st, 2018. Dividends should be mailed quarterly so that no one has to go too long before getting enough money to cover their costs or make investments in efficiency, but also so that voters will have received 3 dividend checks before the next election. This should allay any concerns This should allay any concerns our colleagues have about the political implications for them. Also, having physical dividend checks with an explanation of policy written on them will build awareness and understanding in the public and allay the concerns some residents have that the proceeds from the carbon price might not actually get back to them. We can show the benefits concretely. Please let me know if I can assist in any way as you deliberate following this hearing. I've been working on this issue and especially on how to communicate about it for really most of my time for the last few years, and I would love to be helpful to the committee in any way to get a bold carbon pricing policy passed this summer.
Thank you, Representative.